Hello children, how are you? Hope you are fine and enjoying my video classes. So today we shall be taking up the third chapter of NCERT biology textbook, that is human reproduction. Let me be very specific. To summarize the whole event of human reproduction, we can proceed in this way. First, gamete formation. Gamete formation. Otherwise we call gametogenesis. Gametogenesis. Second, gamete transfer. Gamete transfer. Of course, it is the transfer of male gamete to the female gamete. Otherwise, we can say insemination. Insemination. Third, fertilization. Fertilization. Result of the fertilization is formation of zygote. Zygote formation. Next, development of zygote into a blastocyst, blastocyst. Next, implantation of blastocyst within the endometrium of uterus. Implantation. That means the zygote will implant within the endometrial wall of uterus. Sixth or next step, development of blastocyst into an embryo, that is embryogenesis. Embryogenesis. The whole period of embryogenesis, through which embryo gets converted into a mature fetus, this period we call gestation period or gestation. Gestation. And the last phase, that is release of completely fully developed fetus, called parturition. Parturition. So the whole process of human reproduction taking place under these following events: gamete formation or gametogenesis. This gametogenesis in case of male, that is formation of sperm, called spermatogenesis. In case of female, formation of ovum, called oogenesis. Second step, transfer of gamete. Here the male gamete sperm will transfer to the female reproductive tract. This process we call insemination. This is done through copulation. Then third is once the sperm is inseminated, when it is reaches to a particular site of the fallopian tube, that is ampullus isthmus juncture, if egg is there by the time it will fertilize. So the fertilization will lead to the formation of a zygote, and next very step, the zygote will develop by repeated division to form a blastocyst, Then the blastocyst will migrate to uterus. Within the inner wall of uterus, what you call endometrium, it will be implemented. That is what you call implantation. It will be implanted. So implanted. That process we call implantation. Next, the blastocyst will gradually develop into different the stages of embryo development, and this whole period of embryo development through which it will convert into mature fetus. The whole period is called gestation period, and once the baby is fully grown within the mother's womb or uterus, then it will be released. That is what you call parturition. So I hope the summary of the whole event of human reproduction is very, very clear to you. Now, let us proceed one by one the steps, the structures and events, the primary and secondary structures of reproduction, one after another. So let me rub this part. We shall take up now first the male reproductive organ of human, which is responsible for the production of sperm. So male reproductive organ. It consists of, number one, a pair of testis. Number two, a pair of testis, otherwise called primary reproductive organ. Along with so many accessory duct and glands. Duct like Bhasha, efferentia, third, these are the accessory duct. Vas deferens, fourth, ejaculatory duct, Apart from that, we have epididymis. So these are the accessory duct, helps for the process of reproduction. And we have various glands like seminal vesicle, like prostate gland, like bulbourethral gland, these are the glands. And we have external genitalia, that is penis. So these are the parts present in human reproductive system. A pair of testes, the primary reproductive organ, vas deferens, vasa efferentia, ejaculatory duct. These are the associate duct, help for the process of reproduction. We have seminal vesicle, prostate gland, bulbourethral gland. These are the glands, helps for the whole process of reproduction, and external genitalia, that is penis. So these are the structures, primary and secondary reproductive structures present in human male. Let us go through the diagrammatic presentation of this system. So let me draw a very simple diagram which you can also easily draw in your examination within less span of time. So a pair of ovary, ovary lies outside the abdominal cavity, remain suspended within a pouch called scrotum. So this is the scrotum. Sorry, I'll just rectify. This is the pair of testis, not ovary. So we are talking about male. So this is the testis, a pair of testis. This testis is lying outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch-like structure called scrotum. This is the scrotum. So here also, this is the scrotum. It will cover the entire testis, scrotum. Now, each testis almost 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 centimeter in length and 2 to 3 centimeter in wide. Each testis is having so many, around 250 compartments. These compartments of testis are called testicular lobule. So how many are there? Nearly 250 testicular lobules. Each testicular lobule contains 2 to 3 fine coiled tubular structure called seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule. It is these seminiferous tubules are the site for production of sperm, the male gamete. So, if I draw a single or two seminiferous tubules like this, blindfolded at one end within the testicular lobule, suppose 1, 2, let me draw another one. These seminiferous tubules are opening into a very short structure. So this is the short structure. These short structures are called red testis. So these short structures are called red testis. Red testis. Now these red testes then opens into another duct. These ducts are called Vasa efferentia. These are called Vasa efferentia. These dark cells, shall I rub this part? This is called Vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia. Now, all the Vasa efferentia from different testicular lobule enters into a highly coiled tubule which ascend up at the posterior upper part of each testis. This is called epididymis. This structure. If I said this structure, this is called epididymis. This tubular structure. Epididymis. Now epididymis descend down and outside the testis opens into epididymis. This epididymis enters into a long tubular structure long tube called vas deferens. So from both the testes, from one testis a single vas deferens, from other testis another. So let me draw here another vas deferens. Another vas deferens emerging from other testes. This is other vas deferens from another testis. Now, both will jointly open into a duct. Where this duct will reside? Let me first draw then the urinary bladder. Unless we draw the urinary bladder, you cannot understand the position exactly. So let me rub this part also slightly. This is the position of urinary bladder at the abdominal part. Here is the urinary bladder. The two ureter coming from kidney. These are the ureter. This is the urinary bladder. This urinary bladder opens and releases its content to urethra. This is the urinary bladder. UB. Now, the two vas deferens will make a loop round the urinary bladder. You have to be very, very specific and have a very clear concept. So this is the left vas deferens making a loop over the urinary bladder. This is the right vas deferens, making a loop over the urinary bladder, loop over the urinary bladder, making a loop over the urinary bladder. Here as I told you, the accessory glands, one such accessory gland called seminal vesicle, a pair of seminal vesicle from both the side, one each. So this is the UB, urinary bladder, and another seminal vesicle from this side. Try to concentrate the diagram so that you can easily also draw. These are the seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle. So a pair of seminal vesicle from both the sides of vas deferens entering into a duct. So the vas deferens and seminal vesicle opens into a duct. This duct called ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct. What is its name? Ejaculatory duct. These ejaculatory duct now will pass, on the way it will meet a structure, single structure called prostate gland. This is the structure, prostate gland. So this is the prostate gland. Prostate gland. Now another pair of gland from both the side, one each, small in size. This one, this side, this one will also join here. This gland, one of each side, called bulbourethral gland. So if I rub this scrotum part here, so the small gland is called bulbourethral gland, a pair of bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland also opens into the duct. And now they commonly opens to the urethra. This is called urethra. Urethra, these passes, urethra. Urethra. This urethra pass through a muscular structure called as male genitalia, what we call commonly penis. This is covered by a skin, fold of skin called as foreskin. So this is the structure of male reproductive system, comprises of a pair of testes. Each testis lies outside the body in a pouch-like structure called scrotum. It's very, very important. Why it is residing outside the body, not within the abdominal cavity? It is because during the formation of sperm, it requires a temperature 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius less than our internal body temperature, 37 degrees Celsius. It requires 2 to 2.5 degree less 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius less temperature. Otherwise, if the testis reside within the abdominal cavity, it will receive the body temperature and the sperm will not be a active sperm. That means the sperm cannot survive, sperm production cannot facilitate, maturation cannot facilitate. Is that clear? So each testis having 250 around lobular compartment. These compartments are called testicular lobule. Each such testicular lobule contain around 2 to 3 fine tubular structure. These tubular structures are called seminiferous tubule, seminiferous tubule, seminiferous tubule within the testicular compartment or testicular lobule. These seminiferous tubule through small duct called reta testis opens into another duct called vasa efferentia. These vasa efferentia together joins to form or joins to enter into a highly coiled structure called epididymis, which present at the upper posterior end of the testis. This epididymis then enters into a highly coiled and long tubular structure called vas deferens. So one vas deferens from each side, from each testis, then make a loop over the urinary bladder and joins into or enters into ejaculatory duct. Here, in this ejaculatory duct, a pair of seminal vesicle also enters. The ejaculatory duct passing on the way to another very important gland called as prostate gland. This is the prostate gland. This is the prostate gland. And further descending down, a pair of small gland called bulbourethral gland also opens to the ejaculatory duct. Now the ejaculatory duct finally opens into a canal like structure called as urethra. This urethra is the canal for common passage for the passage of urine so formed and sperm so produced. Now, what is the role of testis? Why it is called a primary reproductive organ? Because it is the seminiferous tubule, the site for the production of sperm during the process of gametogenesis. What you call as spermatogenesis. I hope up to this much is very, very clear to you. Here, the penis is a structure which is secondary reproductive structure, secondary reproductive organ, because it is not directly involved for the production of male gamete. It helps for the insemination of the sperm to the female reproductive tract. Is it very clear? So, I hope whatever we have discussed step by step, the different events we have summarized under reproduction in human being, what are the events, and then slowly we proceed to the reproductive organs, male, primary and secondary reproductive organs, the various ducts and the glands. Now here one more thing I will add. The glands, a pair of seminal vesicle, a single prostate. So how many seminal vesicles are there? A pair, two in number. A pair of seminal vesicle, a single prostate and bulbourethral gland. These glands secretes their secretion of fluid, what we call seminal plasma. What is it called? Seminal plasma. Otherwise commonly called seminal fluid. This seminal fluid or seminal plasma contain number one, fructose, number two, calcium ion, number three, enzymes. So the secretion of these glands, that is seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral gland, these commonly together called seminal plasma, which is very, very important because it contains fructose, it contains calcium ion, it contains enzymes. These are very, very important for the maturity and nutrient supply and further activeness of the sperms to produce. It is the fructose which supplies the nutritional requirement. It is the calcium which makes an alkaline ambient. This alkaline ambient facilitates further when the sperm is injected to the female reproductive tract, because this medium of female reproductive tract is highly acidic. In that acidic medium, the sperm will lose its viability, it will die. So as to make the medium neutral, it is the calcium which makes it neutral. That is, calcium being giving the ambient, that is alkaline. Enzyme further process very, very required for the sperm. So I hope by this time you got a very, very clear concept about the process, the events and the male reproductive system of human being. Is that clear to you? By that time, thank you. Let us meet again. Bye.